Welcome to the Airlift Workshop, where you get expertise from the air suspension specialists, keeping you on the road and in top condition. Today, we're installing part number 88275, a LoadLifter 5000 Ultimate Air Spring Kit on a 2009 Chevy Silverado 2500. Installation will take about 3 hours using common mechanics tools, and the process will be identical for part number 57275. Kit availability and fitment details for all supported vehicles are available at airliftcompany.com. Adjustable air springs can reduce the dangerous side effects of towing and hauling by returning the vehicle to its factory ride height and properly distributing weight to all four wheels. Delivering up to 5,000 pounds of load leveling capacity and featuring an exclusive internal jounce bumper, this no-drill kit is a no-brainer when you want to tow and haul with safety and comfort. This overview doesn't replace your installation manual, so grab yours out of the box or get a digital copy at airliftcompany.com and let's get started. Let's start by assembling the air springs. Set a roll plate on both ends of the air spring, with the rounded edge of each faced toward the air spring. Install the elbow fitting on the top of the air spring. Tighten with your finger, then carefully make 1.5 turns with a wrench. Place the upper bracket on the bellow assembly, using slot A for the driver's side and slot B for the passenger's side. Loosely attach using the 3/8-inch bolts, lock washers, and flat washers. Before attaching the lower bracket to the driver's side, insert a 5/16-inch bolt into the small hole. For 2500 HD models, install a 3/8-inch bolt and lock nut through the hole in the lower bracket, with the head of the bolt facing down, and tighten securely. Insert two 3/8-inch carriage bolts through the large holes and into the square holes of the legs in the lower bracket. Then, attach the lower bracket to the bottom of the bellow assembly using two 3/8-inch flathead screws and tighten securely. Although we're using a lift here, you can easily use a floor jack to raise the vehicle. Once lifted, support the frame with safety stands. Then lower the axle or raise the body of the vehicle, making room for the air spring assembly. Remove both jounce bumpers from the frame rail. On 2500 HD models only, the driver's side axle may have a small bracket and nut with nothing attached to it. This bracket must be trimmed off the axle in order to install the assembly. On this driver's side, prepare to install the assembly with a cinch bolt. Set the lower bracket parallel to the strike plate. Hook one bracket leg under the strike plate and turn the assembly until the other leg is under the strike plate as well. Before attaching the upper brackets, make sure the elbow fitting points toward the rear of the vehicle on the driver's side and toward the front of the vehicle on the passenger side. Insert two 3/8-inch bolts with flat washers through the existing jounce bumper holes and through the slotted holes in the upper bracket. It may be helpful to raise the axle at this point so that the upper bracket touches the frame. Then secure the bracket using flat washers and nylock nuts. Push the bracket inboard and tighten both upper bolts. There should be a thumb's width between the bellows roll plate and the leaf spring U-bolt. Bring the axle all the way up and remove the jack stand or equivalent previously used to support the frame. Adjust the assembly so the air spring is perpendicular to the bottom and top mounting brackets. Tighten the top mounting bolts to 20 pound-feet. Attach the axle strap to both lower bracket carriage bolts using flat washers and nylock nuts and torque evenly to 16 pound-feet. Now, attach the brake line bracket to the lower bracket using the previously installed 5/16-inch bolt with one flat washer and a nylock nut. Attach the brake line clip to the brake line bracket using a 5/16-inch bolt, two flat washers, and a nylock nut. Align the bracket and clip assembly so that they don't bind to the cable, then tighten the mounting hardware. Make sure the cable does not rub against fully inflated bellows. Before routing airline to the springs, note the available length and pick a convenient inflation valve location where you can drill two 5/16-inch holes. We'll use the license plate recess here, but other location options include the bumper, wheel well flanges, and under the gas cap access door. Place a nut and star washer on the inflation valve and push the valve through the hole. Use a rubber washer, flat washer, and nut to secure it in place, then twist on the valve cap. Now, route the longest airline path first, leaving some slack and avoiding sharp bends, edges, and heat sources. Secure it along the frame using the provided zip ties. Once routed, measure an extra 12 inches and cut the airline. When cutting the airline, remember to never cut from the side. You'll leave a jagged edge and ruin the hose. Instead, use a hose cutter or sharp razor blade to get a crisp, clean cut. Following the same guidelines, route, secure, and cut the other airline. Now, insert both lines into their bellows push-to-connect fitting. Install the heat shield where the exhaust is closest to the air spring. Bend the tabs to provide a ½ inch of airspace and clamp them to the exhaust. Bend the heat shield body for maximum clearance to the air spring. To make sure your install is airtight, inflate the system to 30 psi and spray a soapy solution on all connections and valves while checking for exiting air bubbles.